This module shows how price affects profit. In theory, the economic underpinnings of price are fairly simple. In practice, they are more subtle due to multiple effects of price on profit. The following chart shows the profit system in a simple hierarchical form. Scanning downward, at the first level, profit drivers are sales revenue and costs. The sales revenue is in turn price times the sales volume. Costs have obviously some variable and some fixed components. Variable costs change, as you can imagine, with the sales volume, but fixed costs do not. Pricing's critical nature is readily seen by the dramatic impact its effective management can have on the bottom line. Pricing researchers have noted that the fastest and most effective way for a company to realize its maximum profit is to get pricing right. The right price can boost profit faster than increasing volume will. The importance of pricing can be nicely supported by some research that was done a couple of years ago by a consultancy firm in the United States. They looked at 2,400 companies and they were wondering what would happen if I can improve 4 different profitability drivers. What would happen with the bottom line of these 2,400 companies on average? They looked at volume, price, fixed cost and variable cost. What we see from this chart is that by reducing our fixed cost by only 1%, we can actually drive the bottom line of these organizations on average by more than 2%. So we already see that all the 4 different profit drivers have a significant impact on the bottom line. Nevertheless, we see that pricing is the most important driver of profitability of these organizations. Just raising prices by 1% will actually lead to an increase in the bottom line by more than 11%. This finding was supported by some research that we did at IE Business School a couple of years ago. We looked in this particular case at the European market, and we were interested in whether the strategic focus of an organization has as well an impact on the profitability of the organization. More specifically, we focused on whether the organization follows more a cost focus or whether that organization follows more a pricing focus or price management focus. As dependent variable, we focused on profitability, here depicted by earnings before interest and tax. What we could find from that research is that there's a clear correlation, a clear relationship between the strategic focus of the organization and the profitability of the organization. In a nutshell, we can summarize this research that companies that focus on price management are significantly more profitable than companies focusing simply on the management of their costs. Let's illustrate this with a very simple example in order to highlight that price is one of the most important drivers of profitability. Let's consider the following question. Let's see what is the correct answer to this question. Let's assume a very simple example. Let's imagine we're selling out a product at a price of 100 euros. As we said before, we have a contribution margin of 20%, which means that the remaining 80% represents the variable cost. So in this particular case, 20 euros would be the contribution margin at a unit level and 80 euros would be the variable cost. So we now assume a price reduction of 10%. We can already see this depicted in the graph. By reducing our price from 100 to 90 euros, we are obviously not changing our variable cost. However, what is changing is our margin. Our margin now dropped by a 10% price decrease from 20 euros per unit to only 10 euros per unit. This, I think, makes it already clear by how much we have to increase our sales volume in order to compensate a 10% price decrease. You're absolutely right. The correct answer is 100%.